Welcome back! Today I've got what I feel could be quite an interesting playlist of videos, if you're interested in classic personal stereos.
And what to look out for when buying online.
Now, if you're just getting into personal stereos, then this video will hopefully start you on the journey in earnest. It seems that this new retro craze is affecting those between 18 and 34. At least that's what I found from looking at the stats on my previous FIO CP13 video. And I've noted that 86% of viewers are in this age range.
And about 20% are in the 18 to 24 range.
So you'll be that generation who may never have remembered the original Walkmans until you watched, say, films like Guardians of the Galaxy or Stranger Things. Boy, all I can say is you've missed out on some of the funnest forms of music consumption. Maybe you're just burned out with the sheer volume of access you have to music these days and just want to
chill with something a little bit more considered. Either way, welcome to this video. So, should you buy the CP13 from FIO, as I previously reviewed, or should you take a punt on a classic unit? Well, today I've got a bunch of units from a bunch of brands, from a bunch of price ranges, and a bunch of conditions. So let's get started.
I've been building this collection up for a while, just ready for this review. First thing we need to do is we need to get this cassette out. So what I've done is I have recorded just some random music, copyright free, off of YouTube, and I'll credit that in the description in the video. We're going to put this to one side. That's our basis. We're going to need a set of earphones, a set of batteries. Now I have a set of earphones here that are just cheap in-ear ones. We might use them today. I've also got this little speaker just so I can hear some of that audio. We'll put these to one side just now. So everything's going to hopefully run on AA's today. This cassette over here, this little cheap speaker, it's okay. It'll give us an indication of how well the units are working. And yeah, it's quite a few I've got here. In fact, I've filled a box. So let's just go through these one by one. And I'm going to zoom in a bit now, and we'll just take one across at a time, and we'll have a look at each of them in turn. Now this is one of my longer videos, so I will put chapters in the description below. And I go over quite a few different models in this video, so if you search for one of these and you pick one up, why not bookmark this video, maybe subscribe. That way you can come back, you can rewatch this video at a later date, and I will, as I create repair videos, I will link them into this video as well, so that you can then go through them at your own leisure. Let's get back to the video. And we're going to start with this. This was the first stereo that I received after I purchased the FIO. And this was purchased on eBay, and I felt a little bit of nostalgia when I spotted this on eBay. This is the same stereo that I had when I was a kid in the early 80s. And it was in terrible condition. As you can see, it's still a bit scratched, but it's polished up quite well. Most of the gunge has been removed from all these buttons. I've managed to clean it up quite well. And I actually have some footage which I'll use in a little renovation video for this. It was only while I was renovating that I actually thought maybe I could make some extra videos out of this and help some people in their journey picking a classic device. Now, Saisho was a cheap British brand from the Dixon's Group, which was an electrical store, quite popular in the UK until it disappeared not that long ago. So, yep, I had one of these back in the 80s. Used to come around with my paper round, and it was okay. Features wise, it's got a stop, a fast forward, and a play, and that's really it. It's got a volume up and down, and it's got some graphic equalizer, and that is it. It runs on two AA's. I've already got two in here just now. Actually, I forgot. I've been playing about in this one recently, and in fact, just to keep things fair, we'll take these budget ones out, and we'll use these good quality EBL ones that I've got here. So put them in. Everything seems to be present except for the clip for the belt, which is unfortunate. So we'll open this up, and what I will say is, when I first received this, it was in horrendous condition. It was filthy. It had like gunge all along the buttons, the capstan, the pinch roller, everything inside was just filthy. It really was filthy. When you played tapes in it, it was a lot of wow and flutter, and they sounded like they were slow. And also these little contacts here, the electrical contacts in here were all crackly when you moved them backwards and forwards. Same for the volume slider on the side. So I'll go into how I managed to bring this back to life. And it's not had belts. This is purchased for £5.50 on eBay. So let's just put a cassette in. First things first. We'll put this little speaker in, turn that on. Now it has got an A and a B out, but I found the B's the best. And this has also got it's a 3-pin, so I'm going to have to just push the cable in and pull it out slightly because it won't work very well on most of these stereos, but we'll see how we get on. Okay, that's working pretty well, as you can hear. No crackling from these adjustments, which is brilliant. So yeah, this, I have to say, sounds almost as good as this. In fact, perhaps, possibly even better in some circumstances, in that you can mess about and turn the bass up, which you can't do on that. This is just as it comes. And as a budget, £5.50 versus this cost me £62, although it's often listed for about £100 on places like Amazon. This was £5.50 on eBay, and there really isn't much noticeable difference. Size-wise, they're very similar. We'll just turn this off just now. This is slightly bigger in the height dimension, it's slightly shorter there, and it's about the same thickness. So yeah, this is about as budget as you could go, but it's actually okay. So if you want to get any budget, but it will require, more than likely, a little bit of servicing. And like I say, I'll go over that in another video. So this was the first device I purchased, £5.50, after a little bit of fettling, working fine. So on to the next device. We'll need to retrieve the cassette and the batteries, because we'll need those in a moment. Like I say, nothing's broken on this. Only thing that's missing is the battery clip. We'll put this over to one side just now. So what have I got next? I'm going to just show you. I've not really purchased these in order, and I'm just going to jump backwards and forwards between different purchases that I've made. So this next one is the Panasonic. Let me get the model on it, if I can see what it is. This is the RQ-SW20. And this is one of these rugged ones that came out in the late 80s, where it was kind of semi-waterproof. Now this one, as you can see, is uncleaned. It's still pretty grubby. This is a rubber coating here. Now I'm hoping it'll clean up a bit and look a bit nicer. It's been well used, so it does say auto there, so it's been pretty well worn down. But generally speaking, it looks to be in okay condition. It's a little bit damaged there. That's the battery compartment. Now I'm guessing whoever owned this most recently didn't know how to take the battery cover off, and they were pushing this because it looks like it's been butchered a bit. You actually pull it towards you, and then it should flip up. Now, what I've noticed is one of the clips has gone here, so it's a bit loose. It does sometimes fall out. So we'll crack a couple of batteries in this one next, and just try and work out which way they go. I think they go in this way, and there's no corrosion on this in the battery pack, so we will see how well this plays in a moment. That just clipped down, but it's a bit loose feeling. But it goes underneath the cassette anyway, so it's not going to be so visible. It's got a lock here so you can lock it shut, so that it won't open accidentally, and various little bits here. It's got different tape setups here, so you can do the chrome, or you can do normal tapes on normal just now. It's got, what else has it got in it? It's got a direction, so it can play the tape either side, A or B side. It's got play, it's got fast forward, rewind, stop, a lock there. It's also got a hold setting so that you can stop from accidentally pushing any of these buttons here. It's got an XBS setting for the sound, and it's got a built-in radio as well. This cost me £13. Now it's well used, as you can see, and it's rugged, so it's kind of designed to be well used. And it's got that broken battery cover. It's got a little bit of wow. Let's just put a cassette in so you can see. In fact, I've done that already, haven't I? I've got the cassette in, I've got the batteries in. Let's plug these this little earphone in and see how it goes on. And I have to say, it smells a bit. And there we go, this works. So this was advertised, they were all advertised online as pretty much either broken or sold as seen. Nothing was really advertised as fully working. In fact, the saisho that I just had on was advertised as working. Not fully working, just working. It's actually playing okay. A little bit of wow. I haven't cleaned the reed head, I haven't cleaned any of the capstan rollers or the pinch roller or anything like that. We'll do that at a later date. We're going to clean this up and we'll see how we get on with it. But generally speaking, this old Panasonic RQ-SW20 for £13, seems in pretty good working order. It's, again, very similar sized. Similar style to the buttons, as you can see. This is all plastic and rubber, this is all aluminium. So, yep, £13. I think that was a pretty good purchase. So let's move on to the next one. And we'll just retrieve the tape and the batteries again. See, this is a little bit wonky, but not too bad. The smell on it is quite horrendous. It definitely needs a good clean. It just smells like it's came from like a musty attic, to be honest. A few scuffs. Generally speaking, pretty decent condition. So next up we have this aiwa. This is the GS232. Now I picked this up for £9.99. It's lightly scratched. It's not too bad condition. A little bit of scuff in there. It has the belt clip here. It has a chrome and metal selector on the back. We'll leave that on normal just now. Top here it's got a Dolby on off. It's the first one with Dolby that we've came across. Volume control, earphone out, and a DC in, so you could use external power. It's also got auto reverse to play both ways, and it's got a automatic looping mode if you want to use that. It's got quite small buttons. It's quite a nice little thing. It feels pretty light. It feels a bit flimsy, but we'll open that up. Internally it looks pretty clean. Now, like I say, I have done nothing in any of these. This one, however, I'm not sure if this one works. I'm pretty sure this was advertised as not working. So we'll just fire this on and we'll open it up just now, press the play and see what happens. Well, there's definitely something turning, but it's not turning either of these rollers. So the motor appears to be working, but I'm guessing the belt has gone. Yep. So this is going to need some refurbishing. Now the reason I bought this particular model was I had an aiwa after I had my saisho unit. So my saisho unit I had in the early 80s. By the late 80s it was getting a bit long in the tooth, and I replaced it with an aiwa unit. Now I couldn't remember the exact model, so it was either one like this or like another one I'm going to show you in a moment. So this one's going to need some refurbishment, so we'll come back to that one in a later video as well. Up next we've got one that's in an original box, although not all the original internal packaging. It's just been fitted in with some paper. No instruction guide unfortunately, and this is another nice little unit. I quite like Panasonic devices, so I wanted to get one of these. This one looks pretty nice. It's also got a number of switches on it. It's got an XBS setting for some extra bass. It's also got the tape selector for chrome and normal. Volume up top. It's got its original clip. It looks in really good condition on the back. DC input on the bottom. It actually looks pretty much pristine. Some light scuff in here. It has a thing called a snap lock, which really just... it's just a cheap way to put it back together, but anyway. It's got a direction switch here for playing either side of the tape. Stop, play, fast forward and rewind. Nothing too over the top or ostentatious here, and it's very light feeling. Now, this was advertised as pretty clean condition. It's been lightly used at best. Comes with the original box, like I said, and it cost me $19.99, so this is one of the more expensive purchases, so let's give this one a try. I picked this one on the basis that it was in very good outward condition, but as with all the ones I've purchased here today, it's advertised as untested. So we'll give this a test and we'll see what happens. Okay, let's open this lock here, press play. Okay, I just heard the motor turning there, but it isn't turning in here, so I'm thinking this may need a belt. Like I say, these older units, the one thing that's going to likely fail in these is the belt, and I think the belt has failed in this old Panasonic. Nice unit though. I think if you can get this one restored and working, it'll be a good purchase to sell on perhaps. And my plan here is, I've purchased all these different devices. I'm not going to keep them all. I will keep a few, possibly keep one of the aiwas that I have. I have another one coming up later on in the video. I'll be keeping the saisho because that reminds me of the first one I had. Oh, this is pretty nice as well. We'll have to see. Okay, let's move on to the next device. Up next is a part of a twin purchase. So this was purchased for £15, and the other device was mentioned more in the advert. This one was just this is also included. And this is an old Alba cassette player. Now, Alba was one of these really budget brands. It actually looks like, based on the colours here, these might be the original earbuds that it's come with. We'll not be trying them. Put them over to one side. A little bit of damage on the top here. Looks like this might actually all buff out if I get a chance to clean it on the outside. It has a bass booster switch on one end and a volume control on the other, and that is it. It is missing its clip for the belt hoop. Somebody's name's on this, so we'll cover that up. So this is the CP40. It's even got an original Alba limited sticker on it. So let's just open this up. Oh, there's quite a bit of corrosion there. So we'll put in a couple of batteries and we'll just see if this wants to play. Oh, it's got a cassette in it. Oh, there you go. Let's press play on this. Oh, it's got play, fast forward and stop, just much like the saisho one, just a budget one. Okay, there's nothing happening there. Now that might be down to the fact that this battery terminal is a bit on the corroded side. I'll see if I can give this a little bit of a clean up.
Now it's where I do my segue to my sponsor. Who am I kidding? I've got no sponsor. So you can either listen to me for the next couple of minutes and I'll overlay some nice footage of what we've looked at so far, or you can skip this section, but I'd love you to stay and listen. So my content does okay. Not amazing, but then I never expected it to. My revenue source is me, and occasionally a little help from YouTube AdSense, memberships and super thanks. And for that I'm eternally grateful for your help. And you probably noticed my production values, well, there barely are any. I don't have time or the skills for lengthy edits or classy B-roll. I do what I can and I just enjoy myself when I'm doing it. And now comes the hard sell. You watching this video has helped me a heap, and I really appreciate it. If you watch the whole video, it'll help me even more. Now super thanks, they're always welcome, but I don't think this video deserves that. Perhaps one of the upcoming restoration videos might though. You decide. If you watch one of those videos and it helps you restore a old classic cassette player and give you a bit of joy, then you feel free to give me a super thanks, but that's up to you. Memberships are another great way to support me going forward, and they start from just £1. I get about half of that from the cut from YouTube. I try to drop videos a day or two early, but really that's about it. That's the only commitment I have just now. I've not been making any member-only videos because at the moment I only have one very loyal member. Thanks, Nigel. You're a star. Okay, that's the end of this sponsor slot. Let's get back to the video.
Okay, I've just got a basic emery board here for filing nails. I'm just going to give this a little bit of a light clean up. And if we're lucky, shine up a little bit. Now we're just going to give this a little bit of a light clean up just now. I will use some IPA and we'll clean this up properly later on. Let's just see if we can get this good enough that we can be confident that we're putting a voltage into this thing. Okay, it's actually cleaning up okay. So if we get some IPA on this and a little bit more work, that should maybe be enough to give us an electrical connection. Yeah, let's just give this a go. Oh, that's turning. So we've turned this around. From a servicing point of view, this might not need much. Let's get this volume turned down a bit. Okay. It's pretty crackly. We'll light flat. The motor in it's quite noisy. It's turning very slow. I can see right now it's turning slow. However, it is turning, so we may be able to get a bit more life out of this. Maybe clearing up the pinch rollers and the capstan. Let's just make sure the tape's actually okay still. Yep, that's fine. So yeah. Okay, well, out of the two in this bulk purchase of £15, the older or the more cheap of the two units appears to be working, and the other unit was, or is, if I can just find it, here it is here. It's another aiwa. Now this one is a little bit worse for wear. It's quite well worn. It's obviously been, whoever's had this has held it in their hand a lot, and they must have had some sort of, I don't know, something in their hand that's caused the actual silver to slowly rub away, but it's left the rest of the writing on here, so that's almost all the way through the plastic there. It also comes with a really cheap pair of earphones. We'll just get them unplugged. Has a belt clip as well. It's a very strange belt clip because this one has all the controls on the front and the top, and it's the back that appears to open. So we'll just unscrew this just now. Well, it's quite a fiddly little clip. We'll get that off. Mostly present though. And this one also has a built-in radio, so let's just see if we can get some life out of that. It'll be interesting. There we go, that's came off now. So it also has, what we've got here, we've got an option for a different type of tape. Yep, Dolby on off there, and a different type of tape there. So we'll leave it normal, we'll leave the Dolby just off just now. It's got a reset button for some reason. Earphone socket, what looks like, well, that's where the cable's screwed in. DC 3 volt in the bottom, volume there too. Number of buttons here, an on-off button, a hold button, MSP/game. I wonder what that means. I don't know what the game is, but anyway. Tuning up and down, auto presets, it's got a number of them built in as well. It can play, stop, fast forward, rewind, and it's got a device direction, and then it's got an open button there. Aha. Oh, something not quite right here. Oh yeah, that doesn't feel right. Oh yeah, look. Probably can't see this, but there's a spring there that appears to be partially dislodged from where it's meant to be. Oh yeah, I can just push that and it's coming loose. So we'll just be careful with that. It does close, but as you can see, it's sitting a little bit proud on that side. So I think this is going to need a bit of a tear down. Hopefully it's not had one before. Well, the buttons appear to work. What's this in here? Oh, there's a little flick. There's a little switch that you can click for single side and auto repeat for looping the video round and or for looping the cassette round and round. So let's open this up. Where does it open? Down the bottom here. How do you open this? Oh, there you go. Ah, that's actually still attached. That's great. Got a couple of batteries in it. Let's have a look inside here. Oh, there's bits falling out of that. That's kind of gross. What is that? It's like bits of biscuit or something. That's horrible. Perhaps it looks like it's got a little bit of corrosion on it in there. Let's just put some batteries in it and see what happens. It's got an on-off button there, but I don't actually know what that does. Is that for the radio on-off? Well, there appears to be no output there. Let's just eject this and press play and see what happens. Yeah, no life inside this one. Oh dear, is that clip going again? Yeah, this is going to need a little bit of a tear down. I'm going to just give this a little bit of a clean underneath again as well, and just see if I can get into that contact, and we might get lucky and that's more. Is that more bits of gunge in there? No, that's actually a bit of plastic on the shell. Now these two were from the same seller. It was a job lot, two things for £15. Okay, we've managed to get the Alba working, so perhaps they've just left these stored up in an attic somewhere and left batteries in them, and they've got a little bit discharged and corroded a bit. This looks like a bit grubby inside, so I'm wondering, yes, I'll clean inside here. Give me a second off camera and I'll see what I can do with this. Okay, so I managed to clean this up a little bit. Difficult to get to. It's going to need a bit more of a tear down to get inside this to clean that up properly. Pop a couple of batteries in it, just see what happens. I did notice there's a little reset button on the top, so I'll have to have a look and see what that actually means. I'll try maybe pressing that. I've got a little screwdriver here. So where is it? Here, reset button. So let's just, it's appear to be pushing anything down, but nothing happening there. I'm not hearing anything happening inside. So this one appears to be kind of dead. Now I'm sure I saw a little flicker of life on that screen. So we'll have to maybe tear this one down a little bit further and see how we get with it. This will be quite a good one. It's a little bit worn in places, but you know, and it smells a bit as well. But yeah, this is quite slim, quite a bit smaller than the Fio. It's, you know, very early 90s look. It's absolutely covered in buttons. Quite nice and plain on the back. You know, when you look at that, it's like, seems reasonably classy, and then when you flip it around, it's just like a smattering of different buttons. But yeah, it's got quite a lot of functionality, like I say. So we'll come back to that and see if we can get this one back to life. I have a feeling it might be mostly a connection issue. So since we're not getting in with the even the radio coming to life, and I think that'd be quite good if we can get that one working. But we'll come back to that. We'll reattach this here. It's a bit of a strange belt loop, this one, but I do appreciate when most of it's still present, so that's good. We'll get rid of some of these earphones as well. Okay, so we're starting to get through this list a little bit. We're going to actually switch to another aiwa. So this one's a TA262, 263 even, I should say. So this one, the information I've got in this, I paid £6.60 for this. That was an opening bid. It's pretty clean. It's got its belt clip, original sticker on there as well. Turn me on. And what's wrong with this? Well, I don't know yet. So it's got a tape selector. It's got an option for the radio and the tape, and an earphone socket and a tuning dial for the radio here. It's got some adjustments for the treble bass and super bass. Up top we've got the volume wheel here. I've got stop, fast forward, reverse and play. And a DC jack there as well for external power. Oh, yeah, that's broken. Yeah, as you can see here. The clip's okay on that side, but it looks like it's been snapped. Actually, has it been snapped off that side? Yeah, I think it has. It was probably meant to stay captive. Okay, let's just put some power on this. Now, this was an opening bid of £6.60. Nobody else bid on this. It looks pretty clean. Let's just see if it works. That'll be the next thing. I think somebody's just been a little bit hashy when they've taken it off. It clips together pretty well. So, what's that? Push down to release. Take that off and have a look underneath. Yeah, it's not actually that grubby under here, a bit dusty. So, yep, let's put this back together. We'll open it up and just press play and see what we can see. Aha! Now that's turning really well. It looks relatively clean. Let's put a little test cassette in here. What we're on? We're on normal tape. Now that appears to have 3 movements, so it must be normal, chrome and metal. So it's not just chrome and metal combined. That's good to see. And then we've got tape and we've got radio over this side. Let's plug this connection in. Well, I had that crackling there, so well, that works. A little bit of hiss. I think that's going to need a bit of cleaning up. I have to say, this audio, I don't know what some of these tracks are. I just downloaded, or played from YouTube, sorry, and recorded onto my JVC tower system. That seems working, so. That certainly works. I'll flick over to radio and just check, see if that works. Yep, radio definitely works. Well, we've got another working unit, that's great news. So we'll put this one to one side. And the only thing wrong with this is the battery compartment's a little bit wonky, but it's actually still present, which is the main thing. And again, it has the belt clip, which is one of the things that quite often gets broken. You see a lot of these listed online with a broken belt clip and missing batteries, different devices, and they're just worthless at that point as far as I'm concerned. Unless it's a Sony one, which is one of the desirable ones where people are actively making parts for themselves, 3D printing parts, it's just not worth it. Okay, next up. Now I think we're getting quite close to the end of our list. I have 3 devices left. I'm going to save the best for last, or the best as I see it. And we're going to now switch up from two devices that I purchased, not from eBay. I got these from Cash Converters, which is a UK-based pawnbrokers, I would say, is probably the most accurate description. And first up, we will look at the Murphy. Now, this is kind of about the same sort of size as the Fio. It's an AM/FM cassette. It's a bit dirty as well. It's got a bit water damage in the front there, moisture or something, but fingerprinted. It has auto reverse, which is quite high spec, albeit it looks pretty old fashioned. As you can see, it was £14.99. And this came from England somewhere. I can't remember exactly where. It obviously had a 3D sticker in it at some point. It's all present. Got belt clips, quite a flimsy looking small belt clip, but it's there. Up top, we've got the direction for playing A and B side. Fast forward, reverse, stop and play, and we can go between radio and tape, and well, that's about it. There you go, with the AM/FM on this side, volume control, tuning, and a DC input on it. It's got a little LED for FM stereo. So it's got a little hole there. I wonder if that's for adjusting the playback speed. Let's chuck a couple of batteries in this and see what happens with this one. Now, this is from Cash Generators, as I say. I expect this will work. No, I said I expected it to work, but it's on radio, that's why. And yes, that's turning. Okay, let's put a cassette in this and give it a test. It doesn't open very far, this window, so... Okay, that's good news that this is working. And we'll get the volume somewhere in between. Oh, the jack's on this side. It's on tape, yeah. Is that pressed? Don't appear to have much audio. Now, that might be because I'm playing the wrong side. Let's just flip it over. I know we've got the tape direction change. There you go. Sound quality, that's actually pretty decent. And the playback speed's pretty uniform. Let's flick direction. Yes, there's nothing on the other side, so we will just flip it over manually. Just check that when it's playing in the other direction it's okay. Yeah, it's working pretty well again. Wow and flutter wise, this sounds pretty stable, pretty much as good as a Fio. And like I say, this cost me £14.99. Now, unlike when you purchase from eBay, there's no chance of haggling. It's the price is what you pay. You might be able to haggle if you saw this in an actual store, Cash Generator store. I mean, they're probably desperate to get rid of these things. There was two different personal cassette players available. This one, Murphy branded, which was a budget brand in the 80s, and that plays pretty well. So I'm going to move on to the next one, and the next one was what I really wanted to buy. You'll notice so far, I haven't tested any Sony products. That's because Sony products are just unbelievably expensive online. But you could pick one of these up. These are absolutely everywhere. This is which model is this? The EX194. This is basically the run-out model from the early 2000s, 2001, 2002, something like that. And this unit, this was the most expensive unit I think that I purchased. And it cost me £24.99. Believe it or not, these were for sale in the early 2000s in shops like Argos in the UK for £17.99. So I've paid more than the original retail price, but it's in the box. I wanted to have something that was in the original packaging. It looks like it's got earphones, but they're not the original ones. So whoever's had this has looked after it, but they've probably used earphones, as you can see, £24.99. I probably won't keep this. I'll probably pass this on, or maybe one of my kids might want it. But we'll move on. Oh, it's came a really old looking set of earphones. In fact, those look like they should have had no, maybe not. I don't know what brand these are, but they feel really cheap, so we'll put them over there out the way. Slide this out of here. This is surprisingly good condition. Now you see a lot of these for sale on eBay, the 194. I mean, so many of the adverts listed on the eBay just now are posted as rare, especially Sony products. There's literally hundreds upon hundreds of devices available right now on eBay, Sony ones, and they're all down as rare. Lots of them is not working, and some are down as pristine condition. Well, this has got all of its paperwork here, look at that. Let's put this over to one side. And as you can see, there's a little mark there actually. Probably it's just been in and out of the packaging a few times. It's very lightweight. It feels even lighter weight than the aiwa unit I picked up earlier. God, goodness knows how this thing is so light. Obviously the belt clip's still in good nick. Everything looks good there. It doesn't really have much in the way of functionality. It's got AVLS for volume limits, so it's in normal and limited volume. It's got a volume knob here, audio jack there, nothing there, a little bit of marks on the back. That's actually where it's stuck to the, yeah, it's just peeling off, that's just where it's been sticking in the wrappers. Battery compartment, let's just chuck a couple of batteries in this right away. Since it's open, nothing at that end. Front here we've got a mega bass on and off. We've got a little LED to show that the battery's working. Stop, rewind, or fast forward, play and rewind. And I heard it was playing there, so yeah, no problem. It's pretty quiet when it plays. A little bit noisy when it's rewinding. That might be just the style of the unit though. Let's put this cassette in here and have a look. Okay, as you can see, not super full of features, this one. But this is basically new old stock, for all intents and purposes, so I expect this thing to work. This could do a little bit of contact clearing it. It's a bit crackly. So what's it like with the volume? Turn up a little bit. It gets a little bit of bass, but I wouldn't call it mega bass. But yeah, this works as well. So I think, what are we at? Is that 5 devices we have out of? There was a bit of wobble there. So I think how many devices? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I actually have 10 devices, and I've got one more to produce. And it's a device that I, again, owned in the early 2000s. I loved this device. It was great. Really, really, really nice device. In fact, I probably purchased it in the late 90s. And unfortunately, although I can find the box for my one in my attic, I can't find the actual unit itself. So I bought one online. This is the Panasonic RQ-SX25. It's the second most expensive item I've bought in this list so far. This was £23.39 and it was advertised as faulty. So it's got a removable battery on the side. You can put a single AA in here. In fact, we need to remember to retrieve the batteries from this Sony Walkman. We only need one for in here. It also takes a gumstick cell, but I don't have any of them. Oh no, I do actually. I forgot I'd bought some. So I didn't come with one, but has got one in it just now because I bought a pack of these more modern rechargeable ones. So I bought 2 of these. This is a nickel metal hydride battery. It would have came with a nickel cadmium battery probably originally. So 1400 milliamps. I think before they were about 700. So this should be a good upgrade if this works. So we'll slot that back in and we'll close it up. And it's a little bit scuffed and scratched, but it's actually, there's no big dents in it, and I think some of this might polish out a little bit. Some of it appears to be grubbiness. Again, I've not cleaned this. I loved this unit when I had it originally. It's got a lot of good settings. It's got XPS for extra bass, a train setting, so it's a little bit less tinny, I think, or just a bit quieter for when you're on a train. Dolby noise reduction built in as well. It's got a battery check button. That's actually working, so it sees that button. It's about half discharged just now. This is the bit for the extended battery, which you could screw on. And if you attach this to the side, it doesn't look great, but the 2 batteries combined will probably give you about 40, 50 hours worth of playback. I think if we do the battery check now, it'll probably say it's full. Yeah. So again, it's got stop, fast forward, rewind, and it's got play, it's got auto reverse, and I think it might have audio skip. It's got a hold switch on the bottom, which is off just now, volume rocker there too, audio output, and yeah, let's just crack it open. Yep, just to remember. So, does this play? Let's press the play button. Now, one thing I noticed about this, it was advertised as faulty. Now, I could see it's fairly clean, it looks in pretty good condition. And one thing I did notice about these these ones is, they don't actually respond when you first try and press the button. There's a little sensor here that detects when you've actually closed the lid, because as you can see, the read head is on the lid. So it won't play until it's happy those are in place. And if I pull this little switch here in, it's got a very, very, very quiet motor. Now, nothing's turning, so I think the belt on this is gone. Now, I bought a belt for this and it's already arrived, so this will be one of the first ones I restore. I'm going off on holiday soon, and I want one of these cassette players to be working, and I really want it to be this one. So this is going to be the hardest teardown. So this is going to require soldering as well as unscrewing, and I'll be doing this one shortly, but it will be one of the later videos to go online because it probably will need quite a bit of editing. So as we know, this one's not working. Considerably smaller than the Fio in pretty much every dimension. And this, if I recall correctly, this should have some pretty amazing output. It's quite heavy compared to something like the Sony, which is an absolute featherweight. This is all aluminium construction except for this plastic battery, but then this is entirely plastic. I think all the gears inside will be plastic as well. The only weight in this thing is your cassette, which weighs almost the same as it, and a couple of batteries. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully this video has piqued your interest. That's a 50% success rate in what I've been purchasing. All in all, I think I've spent about £140 here for all these 10 devices. I'm hoping I can salvage all of them, and I will be selling on some of these devices at some point in the future. I'll probably be keeping 2 or 3. That's a keeper. I think this is a keeper because that was my first one. This was my last one that I had before I bought this. And one of the aiwas I'll be keeping. I'm not sure which one. This one works. This one doesn't work. This one looks more reminiscent to what I think I had as my second one. I'm pretty sure I did have the volume. I did have the bass boost, and it was upwards rather than left to right. So I think I will keep this one if I can get them working. So I've currently got 2 broken ones and a working one. I want to repair those 2. I want to repair all of them, in fact. And I probably will sell them on. So if you're interested, follow the channel. I'll probably list these in eBay, but we'll see. And hopefully I can raise sufficient funds from that to fund some more restorations or purchasing some more handhelds that I can review in my normal channel format. Anyway, this has been a massively long video, just looking at some of these devices that I picked up that don't work. In the next video, hopefully, it might be one of these that's been restored. I've got some footage to do this one. I might make it a short, to be honest, because I just freehand filmed it when I was giving a little bit of clean up using various car cleaning products to buff it up. So that will still be applied for cleaning all these other ones up. And again, thanks for watching. And if you watched the sponsored section and you've watched all the way to the end, thank you very much. You're really helping the channel. Anyway, bye for now, and I'll catch you in the next video.